Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all taking time to be here today. It means a lot to me. And most importantly, we're going to be interacting throughout this journey. And there'll be good and bad times, but I appreciate y'all's coverage. I know all coverage is not good coverage, right? Some's good, some's bad, some's high, some's low, but I don't take it personal. But what I do want y'all to know is that in time we're going to have a championship program here. And those that are covering this, it's going to be very exciting. And I can't wait to build this here. And I think the impact that you have can be tremendous on our program. I mean that. Like, it can be tremendous on our program. The vibe that we put out, I know it's going to be difficult here early. We have one player, as we know, and we're going to have to build a roster that can compete. But I do know in time here, you're going to have a lot to cover, a lot to write about, and we're going to have a lot of fun. But thank y'all for what y'all do.
Let's start off with David over here on your left.
Bucky, David Nuno, Texas Ags, welcome to Aggie Land. The challenges of putting together a roster in today's world and the type of players that you want, how selective can you be considering how deep we are into the process?
Great question. We won't be able to be as selective as we'd like to be, right? I mean, we have to fill a roster, and this season is different than any other season because with the lawsuit, that stuff that was going on, most of the players this year went to the portal early because the compensation out there was significant early because most programs thought they needed to spend a large percentage of their money before this lawsuit was settled. And so because of that, a lot of players are not available, and particularly at the level player that we need in the SEC. So this would be like on most years, I mean this, like taking over a program in August and having one player. I know that sounds crazy, but that's not an excuse or anything. I'm just telling the facts of college basketball. The only program that could be in a worse place in terms of the portal would be Samford University because they haven't hired their coach yet. But there are a lot of good mid-major players out there, but a lot of the high majors, we're going to have to get to work immediately. And we do play a unique style. Like, we play very up-tempo, very fast-paced. We love to recruit to that system. But I know this, we can't run that system with 4 players. So we're going to have to get players on the board, and we're going to have to get players on the board quickly here. And, we'll have to get lucky in some circumstances. But you're going to see us going to work here right after this press conference.
Let's go to Travis and Owen and Tony.
Hey, Coach. Travis Brown, KBTX. What did the city of Birmingham mean to you, and why now leave a place that you've been your entire life?
I love Birmingham. It's where I grew up. I love the people there. Awesome people. Wouldn't be here without those people. It was truly special that I got to grow up there, and so many people got to raise me. And our success was together in every way. And I mean, literally, people that I grew up with were those that supported our program at a significant level, and we had a lot of success. And so for me to leave that place, it would only be for some place that I know couldn't just win championships, but was a great place to be with great people. And that's why I'm here. Like, we're going to win championships here, but that's not enough. Like, life's too short. I'm not going to put on my tombstone, I won a bunch of championships, right? Like, that's just not how I'm going to live. Like, that's inevitable that we're going to get this done. But, I want to do it with great people, and that's what makes it enjoyable. And so, College Station, and you say, well, Coach, how do you know? You hadn't been here long enough. But a man who has been so involved in my life is Mitch Cole. And literally, he's a coach here with me. Now, he was an assistant coach, and I played for him in college. I've known him since I was 8 years old. Literally, 8 years old. And all he's talked about is this place and the people here. So I'm excited because of the people that are here and the support this program gets.
Owen?
Yeah, Coach Owen Buchanan, I'm with Texas Ags, and I wanted to ask you, with the way the portal is now, and so important in constructing a roster, but how much emphasis do you put on recruiting, high school kids now?
It's a great question. We take players from anywhere, the best players that we can get that we feel can help our program be successful. The issue with high school kids is this, that most of the high school kids, they're known about. They were signed early. There's not a lot of high school kids available right now. But in the future, we take them from all levels. The most important thing to recruiting is making sure that you can, when I say build a car, you can't have 3 steering wheels and no, engine, right? You have to have the right pieces of the car. And so I don't care if it's from this auto shop, which is a high school auto shop, or from this store over here, which is a junior college, we just gonna fit and find the right pieces. You gotta have shooters, you gotta have slashers, you gotta have athletes, you gotta have thinkers, you gotta have the mix. And so we'll take them from anywhere, but this late in the game, there's not a lot of high school players available that can impact your program right away. In the fall, there certainly are.
Let's go to Tony, and then we're gonna go to TV Road.
Hi, Coach. I'm Tony Catalina from the Austin American Statesman. I was able to speak to Trendon Watford on Saturday about, you coming here, and he said that you've always been like a big brother to him, and he described your style as a player's coach, but somebody that isn't afraid to get on you. And at the same time, he said the way you attack defense or other teams is you want to take their will from them. I ask you to say all that to say, would you agree with that assessment from him?
Yeah, look, we want to play in a manner where the way that we play is something we do every day. Like if you come to our practice, it's competition. Like everything we do is track for wins and losses. We'll have a board in the locker room, and the most important thing on that deal is going to show what drills your team won that day or lost that day. And we add it up, and it's over the course of the season. And, it doesn't lie, right? When you've done 3,200 drills, variance kind of shakes out, right? And if you're one of these guys that has won a lot or you've lost a lot, there's reasons for that. And so that's how we practice. So when we get to game day and the pace that we play, that's just another day at the office for our guys. So, we want to be balanced in every phase. We want to play fast on offense, fast on defense, but we want to play with discipline. And we're going to do that. You mentioned Trendon Watford. I've known him since he was 8 years old. I was fortunate enough to see him grow and develop to be who he is. And the best compliment you can have as a coach is not if they like you, like when you're coaching them. It's just when they're gone, do they respect you and the values that you tried to instill in them? And I'm so proud of him.
Well, let's go back to TV Road. We'll start with Tyler and then Donna.
Yeah, Coach Tyler Shaw with KBTX. I know right now roster is kind of the main focus right now, but how important was it for you in building your staff to get a couple of guys like Mitch and Kyle that have ties to A&M, and then just kind of where are you in the process of filling out your staff?
Yeah, we're in the process, but the first question, Kyle and Mitch were tremendous to get, not just because they're tied to this university, but because of their knowledge of the game. Mitch Cole was one of the best offensive minds in the game. The people, we had professional scouts and coaches come in our gym at Sanford all the time. We would be talking to them, and I'm not going to name drop here, but all the time wondering about things that we do. And Kyle Keller, the way that he plays defense, it is a defense that tries to rip your heart out and take your will from you. And that's the way I view defense. Like, I want an aggressive defense. And so we got a good mix there with a great offensive mind, a great defensive mind, but they match. We want a defense that complements what we're doing on offense, which is playing fast. We want to make other teams have to play fast because they fear that we're going to take the ball from them. And that's Kyle. It's in football terms here, he blitzes every play. And I like that. I can live like that. I don't want to live another way. I want to be blitzing. And so the connections are tremendous, but the knowledge is up there as well. Both can recruit. We'll be adding new staff members here shortly. And, once we get this staff into place, it's gonna be a well-oiled machine.
Stay in the back, we'll go to Donna, and then we'll go to the middle row to Alex.
Hi, Donna Conrad, 15 ABC in Bryan College Station. Coach, I know you've been here for all of a couple hours now, but since you've touched down, seen the facilities, seen the turnout today from the 12th man, what are some of your early takeaways about this place?
It started with the 1,200 texts I got when I got the job and phone calls. That's why I've lost my voice. Boy, they're passionate. You get on the phone with anyone associated with the 12th man. You're going to be talking for about an hour and 15 minutes. Most days I like that. I'm just trying to stay alive here to get through this process. But it's been awesome and it's genuine. I like real people, and and it's been genuine how much they love this place. So I'm excited about it. I'm sorry, I missed the second part. What was your second part of the question? Oh, sorry, the facilities and stuff. Top notch. I told Trev when we were going through the facilities, man, I'm glad I didn't come here and see this when I was coaching at Sanford. because I would be selling our facilities and all this, and I had no idea what I was up against. I was glad I was so naive because I wouldn't have been assigned any players.
We're gonna go to the right side, middle, and Alex, then
Hey Bucky, Alex Miller with the Bryan College Station Eagle. Just had a couple quick ones. What's the longest amount of time that you have been away from Birmingham in your life?
That's a great question. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe a month or so, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And just as the negotiations were getting really serious, you've mentioned your relationship with Mitch Cole particularly, and how he always talked about A&M. How much maybe of a sounding board was he for you when you were really trying to seriously consider this place? Do you have any conversations with him about what being a head coach here would be like?
We've had him through the years. The love he has for this place and admiration. This wasn't when this job came open. This was just for years. He's always talked about this place. I guess when you live in Alabama, it's Alabama or Auburn, right? Both love their university, right? Both are slightly different. The people in Auburn, they may die for that place. I've seen them, right? And Coach Cole talked about kind of comparing Texas A&M and the different universities in this state. And he would just admire the people so much. He just admired it and his time here, how much it meant to him. And so obviously when this came open and we started talking about it, he was just lit up. Because he's such a tremendous coach, he could have been a head Division I coach. For someone to say, hey, I'm going back to Aggieland, he's lived in Birmingham for 20-some years. I want to get back to Aggieland. Think about that. That's special. And then my athletic director, obviously when you have success, different universities talk to you about, opportunities. And this is a guy that I love to death, Martin Newton. And he didn't want to lose me for sure. But in that, he said, if you can get that, you got to go. He said, you got to go. That can be one of the best places to coach in all of college basketball. And he's one of the 12 members on the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. So that's somebody that knows.
here in the middle to Carter, then we'll go to Mark.
Carter Carls, 247 Sports. We've seen what your style of basketball looks like at Sanford. You mentioned SEC, it's best conference in the sport. Will it look different at all, and what gives you the confidence that Buckyball can work in a conference like this?
Yeah. I just think the pillars of our program translate to any level, because you got to remember, for me, X's and O's is last. X's and O's is really last. It's personnel first. How hard are we going to play? You're going to see, when we play, you're going to see dogs on the floor. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see, win, lose, or draw, you're going to walk away and say, I'm glad I have this Texas A&M on my shirt. Those dudes laid it down out there. When there's a loose ball, there's going to be 5 guys diving on it. And, you're not even going to know sometimes, particularly in the short term, depending on this roster, we may not win every game. But you're going to dang sure feel like it. It's going to feel like it. And you're going to see people that are together, and that they're going to attack fearlessly. And that's the first pillars of the program. Great personnel that work and play so hard, play together, and play with a tremendous amount of confidence. Then it's X's and O's. That's 5% of it. That's where I think coaches can sometimes get lost. Sometimes I played against teams that, hey, they run a lot of great stuff, but they may not play very hard. And they run a lot of great stuff, but they don't play together. Well, I don't care what they run. If they don't do that, they're dead. And I played against some teams that, hey, they may not run a lot of great stuff, but they play so hard and so together and with such confidence, and I don't love seeing that team, right? Now, systematically, obviously there's always adjustments, but our general philosophy is always going to be one that mathematically makes the most sense, right? And every analytical measure has shown that we've been successful playing the way that we have. When I was at Sanford, we went in and we beat Ole Miss. And people could say, well, there's other mid-majors that have done it too. But the Southern Conference is not that league, right? The talent gap is significant. We beat Oregon State, right? We lost to Georgia in a 2-possession game, went to overtime at DePaul and Central Florida, and in reality, a call away from beating Kansas. So I have complete confidence what we do is going to work because I've seen it work.
Well, let's go to the front row with Mark and then Travis.
Mark Passwaters with Rivals. You were talking about what Mr. Newton said about you got to take that job, and I'm assuming that some of that has to do with the opportunity to have a significant NIL war chest. How does that opportunity affect how you might recruit, especially in this compressed time period that you've got?
Well, we're going to need all the help that we can get and the support that we can get, that's for sure. And I know in the future that it's going to be easy when, you know, 12th man, they know me because, and they know our program because they're going to want to support what I'm talking about. They're going to want to support our athletes. Now, in the short term, everyone's going to have to take a leap of faith because we have to have that support to recruit on a level playing field. And so that's very necessary. So I can say that, but guess what? If this place wasn't capable of it, it wouldn't have accomplished so many significant things that this university has.
With Travis and then Sydney.
Yeah, Bucky, Travis Brown with KBTX. What were some of the influence to building your philosophy and some of the schematics that you do? And I've talked to some people in your pastoral life that said analytics were a huge part of that. How early did you start in that, and where does that kind of play into the whole round of things?
Well, the truth is, you know, I don't know 100%, but I would imagine I've coached more basketball games than probably about anyone who's coached college basketball. Like my route was completely different. Like most of the time college basketball coaches they play college basketball, they become a GA, they work their way up for years to be an assistant coach, and then they work their way up to finally becoming a head coach. You know, so they'll be in a game and may get a job in this league and may have never called a timeout before. And some are successful at doing that. I'm not knocking that, right? Like I coached AU basketball where we play 100 games in the summer, it felt like. Then I coached JV and varsity basketball where I coached, when I was a varsity coach, at varsity to JV in the 9th grade. I mean, we played 120 games throughout the whole deal. And so I got to coach all these games and learn through trial and error in a back gym where nobody was watching, you know? And I also got to experiment. And we were ahead of the analytics, right? Like, so, you know, the free throws, layups, and threes being the most optimal way to play. We were so far ahead of that. And why does it work for us? Well, because guess what? If I'm not the best golfer in the world. I hear there's some good golf out here, so if any of y'all can help me, please let me know. But here's the deal. If analytically, if it's free throws, layups, and threes game and you can perfect that, I'd be a decent golfer if you told me, hey, you just got to learn to hit the driver, the pitching wedge, and the putter. Don't worry about the 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, the 3-wood, hitting a, 2-iron off the deck, right? Like, it makes it easy, and we focus on that. And we get pretty good at hitting that pitching wedge, putting, and hitting that driver.
Now let's go to the back to Sydney and then Rob.
Hi, Coach. Sydney Wicker, KCN/KAGS. First, I wanted to ask you about everybody chanting Bucky Ball as you were walking across the stage. What did that feel like, and has this whole process really sank in with you yet? Does it feel real?
In all honesty, I haven't slept in 3 days. Like, I literally have not got an ounce of sleep in 3 days. But it made it feel like home. You know, the whole Bucky Ball thing started when I was a high school coach and then followed me to college, and now we're out here in Texas. Right, I joke about it that it used to be years ago when we were playing the way we play, everybody was playing really slow in high school basketball. And the really good coaches, they play in the 30s. My school was like 34, 32, there's no shot clock. And so years ago when we started this and started getting into it, we hadn't won in our first year, like at that level. And the old school coaches, it was like a mockery. Oh, they're just playing Bucky Ball, right? And then we started winning at a high level, then it became a positive. So it's funny to see how much it's changed, right? And but what I can say is I appreciate the fans, and I appreciate them being here today.
And second, I wanted to ask you about, you talked about the Alabama-Auburn rivalry a little bit, but here it's Texas and Texas A&M. What are your early thoughts about the rivalry, or what have people told you about it?
Yeah, well, I know that anytime there's rivalries, it's great for athletics. It brings out the best in the players, sometimes not the fans, right? But You know, but with any team, I mean, you know, like I know Bear Bryant back in the day, great coach here, coached at Alabama. And he put an Auburn jacket in his closet every day because he would open that closet up in the morning to get dressed, and he saw that. And he knew how to go to work. And that's what I want from this program. And that's how hard I'm going to work, because the truth is, if we're going to do something and become a power player in this league and be able to dominate this league in time, well, you got to outwork everyone in this league. And that includes in-state rivals as well.
Time for a couple more. We'll go to Rob and then Fox 44.
Howdy, Coach.
Howdy.
Rob Havens with Aggieland Illustrated. First, I want to let you, didn't know if you know Bucky's is actually started by an Aggie. I don't know if you knew that or not. But anyway, A&M is a very special place. What do you know? Can you tell me what you know about A&M when you started to hear about possibly coming here? Any traditions or anything that you heard about that drew you to this place?
You know, I've heard that people tell me that the people are so tight with all that they do, is everything's kind of like the opposite in some ways, right? They're talking about, don't say hey, it's howdy, right? And so I was hearing some of the unique stuff that I had seen from afar, but I didn't understand it yet, right? And they said it's almost like a cult, like in a good way though. Like, it's like if you're in, you're in. And that's like their way of saying, hey, like, howdy, you're a believer, I'm a believer. Like, we're on the same page, right? We believe in this place. And I think that's really cool. You know, I think it's cool because with anything you do, I said it's about the people. You know that. It's about the people. Like, it's these buildings and this office and all this, it's fantastic. But that's not going to win us any games, right? That's not going to win us a game. It's about the people we have in this program. Like, you love this university. Why? Because it's got nice buildings, or is it because you love the people associated with it? And when there's a connection between all people, that's when special things happen. And it's really special if people can go through the adversity together and come out on the other side, because that's when it becomes so significant, when it's difficult, right? Like, when it's really difficult and you have to go through the lows to get to the highs, when you go through that together, it's that much more rewarding. And I feel the passion from this place and this fan base and the people that are there through it all. You know, we're going to celebrate a lot of highs. It's going to be very rewarding.
All right, let's wrap it up with Fox 44.
Hey, Coach, Cam Dyer, Fox 44. You mentioned it being inevitable winning at the highest level here. What gives you confidence that A&M's the place where you can do that?
As long as the support and the resources are there, like we know this place is capable of, right? And look, I can't promise you 100% right now, to see how this roster shakes, are we going to play for a national championship next year, right? But I do know in time, if we think long term and we get all of Aggie Nation and the 12th man behind what we're doing, the nature of college athletics has changed. It's changed. And resources matter a great deal. And we're in the best league in the country with maybe the best fan base in the country and maybe the best resources in the country. So what's not possible? Like, what's not possible? Once we get momentum, we keep that momentum, anything's possible right here. And because the nature of athletics has changed, you know, you can catch up with the, quote, blue bloods like that. And so that's what I believe.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Thank y'all.